Welcome to Simplified UPSC by PPP, where we listen, learn, and grow together. Detailed lecture notes in English and Hindi, plus practice questions for prelims and mains, only on our Telegram channel. Link in description. Like and subscribe for more.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we streamline complex source material into crystal clear, actionable knowledge for you.
Today, we're navigating a really fascinating part of the human body.
We're getting into the hidden waterways, the slow, strategic world of chemical communication.
That's a good way to put it.
We're tackling chemical coordination and integration, and this is distilled directly from the essential NCERT Class 11 biology syllabus, but we've sharpened it specifically for high-yield UPSC preparation. Now, look, before we jump into the fascinating details of hormonal chaos and control, I just want to make a humble request.
Of course.
For all you serious learners out there prepping for UPSC, if this concise analytical content helps you, if it shaves hours off your study time, please do consider supporting the creation process.
It makes a huge difference.
It really does. And a huge heartfelt shout out to all our existing paid members on the Simplified UPSC by PPP channel. Your support is it's truly the engine that drives these deep dives.
We couldn't do it without them.
We couldn't. So if you are capable, please consider joining that paid membership, and don't forget to hit that like button and share your valuable comments with us.
Okay, so let's get into it. It's crucial we understand the system because, the body doesn't just rely on those instant electrical messages from the neural system.
Right. It's not all just sparks and nerves.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is the power of the chemical control system. The endocrine glands. They manage this meticulous, widespread, long-term regulation using non-nutrient chemicals, hormones, as intercellular messengers. These are the things that dictate processes taking days, weeks, or even decades. We're talking about growth development.
Okay, so let's unpack this system. Let's start right at the top where the neural and endocrine worlds kind of merge. The command center.
The master regulator.
Exactly.
That command center is the hypothalamus. It sits in the basal part of the diencephalon, so deep within the forebrain. We often call it the conductor.
The conductor, I like that.
Because it's the primary interface. It regulates nearly all spectrums of body function. It uses these specialized nerve cells, neurosecretory cells, to produce two types of hormones.
Okay, what are those?
Releasing hormones, which stimulate the pituitary, and inhibiting hormones, which, shut it down.
And those hypothalamic signals go directly to the pituitary, the so-called master gland.
Right.
But it's really more of a crucial mid-level manager, isn't it?
That's a perfect way to put it. Absolutely. The pituitary is complex. It has three functional parts. The largest is the pars distalis.
Distalis.
And that's where 6 major trophic hormones are secreted. We know the big players: growth hormone, or GH, and prolactin, PRL.
Right.
But it also releases thyroid-stimulating hormone, TSH, and 3 others that target the gonads and adrenals.
What are those?
We've got adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH, luteinizing hormone, LH, and follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH. That ACTH, for instance, specifically targets and stimulates the adrenal cortex.
Okay, that's a lot coming from one part. What about the other parts?
Well, we also have the pars intermedia, which secretes MSH melanocyte-stimulating hormone.
Yeah.
Then there's the pars nervosa, or neurohypophysis.
Neurohypophysis, okay.
And this part is interesting. It doesn't make hormones. It's basically just a storage locker.
A storage locker for what?
For 2 critical hormones that the hypothalamus actually produces, oxytocin and vasopressin. It just stores and releases them.
The clinical impacts here are where this all hits reality. And these are, high-yield facts for any exam. Let's look at growth hormone dysfunctions.
A very important topic.
If a child has excess GH secretion, they develop gigantism, which is marked by, excessive growth and disproportionate size.
And the opposite is also true. If you have too little GH, especially early on, that leads to pituitary dwarfism, stunted growth.
Right. But the most sinister one, I think, is when GH excess starts in adulthood, usually middle age. This results in acromegaly.
That's a very serious condition.
Acromegaly causes severe disfigurement.
Right.
You see pronounced changes in the facial features, the hands, the feet. And what makes it so important to memorize is that it's often hard to diagnose early. The changes are so gradual. If it's left unchecked, it can lead to severe complications, even premature death.
And just to complete that pituitary link, prolactin, or PRL, its main job is focused on the mammary glands.
Supporting their growth and stimulating milk production.
Exactly, post-birth.
Okay, so moving beyond the command center, let's look at the glands that manage our core, long-term metabolic stability. the essential internal balances.
The day-to-day running of the body.
Right. We have to start with the undisputed thermostat, the thyroid gland.
The thyroid hormones, T3 and T4, are the body's basal metabolic rate regulators, the BMR.
The metabolism maestro.
That's it. It dictates how fast we burn fuel, it supports red blood cell formation, and controls the metabolism of carbs, proteins, and fats. It even fine-tunes water and electrolyte balance.
And the high-yield nutritional connection here is iodine, right?
Yes, absolutely.
A deficiency in iodine leads to hypothyroidism, which in adults causes that characteristic enlargement of the thyroid gland we call goiter.
Correct. But here's the crucial distinction, especially for those preparing for tough exams. It's the impact of deficiency during gestation.
During pregnancy.
Right. Hypothyroidism in a pregnant mother causes defective development of the growing baby. This results in a condition called cretinism.
Which is devastating.
It is. It's marked by stunted physical growth, mental retardation, low IQ, and in some cases, deaf mutism, a truly critical public health issue.
Now, here's where we introduce a critical antagonistic relationship that I think often gets overlooked. The thyroid also secretes something else.
It does. It secretes thyrocalcitonin, or TCT.
And TCT is a protein hormone. It's different from T3 and T4. It's solely focused on
And lowering blood calcium levels.
Okay, so if TCT lowers calcium, something must raise it.
That's right. TCT is half of the calcium regulation equation. The other half is managed by the parathyroid gland.
And those are the 4 little glands on the back of the thyroid.
Usually 4, yes, located on the backside. The hormone they secrete is parathyroid hormone, or PTH.
So TCT decreases calcium and PTH increases it. They're working in tandem.
Precisely. PTH is a crucial bone mineralizing hormone. It raises blood calcium levels by stimulating bone resorption, so it pulls calcium out of the bones.
Okay.
It also increases calcium absorption from your food and enhances calcium reabsorption in the kidneys. This pair, TCT and PTH, maintains a perfect non-stop balance of calcium.
Which is vital for nerves and muscles.
Absolutely vital.
That makes perfect sense.
Right.
The body has 2 opposing managers for this really fundamental mineral balance. Speaking of managers, let's talk about the adrenal glands.
The stress and salt managers.
That's a great way to put it. The body's emergency funding and salt manager.
An excellent analogy. The adrenal cortex produces vital corticoids. Our focus here should be on aldosterone.
Aldosterone.
It's a powerful mineralocorticoid. Its key function is maintaining electrolyte balance, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure, and of course, blood pressure.
And how does it do all that? What's the mechanism?
It acts on the renal tubules of the kidneys. It drives the reabsorption of sodium, Na plus SAD, and water back into the bloodstream.
And at the same time.
At the same time, it stimulates the excretion of potassium, K plus SAD. So it's a rapid response system to regulate blood volume and pressure.
Right, and it works with the nervous system.
Often in conjunction, yes. The adrenal cortex also produces small amounts of androgenic steroids, which contribute to the onset of puberty.
Like the development of axial and pubic hair.
Exactly.
So we've seen how the adrenals handle immediate stress and fluid balance. But if the thyroid is the long-term metabolic thermostat, the pancreas acts like the body's real-time fuel gauge, right? Adjusting moment by moment. What makes it so unique?
It's a true composite gland, a dual-function organ.
Exocrine and endocrine.
Right. Most people know its exocrine role in digestion, but its endocrine function is localized in these tiny clusters called the islets of Langerhans.
And we have millions of those.
1 to 2 million of them in a typical adult. And within these islets, we find different cells secreting the ultimate antagonistic pair, insulin and glucagon.
Okay, this antagonism is so critical for homeostasis, and it's tested constantly. So can you just clarify that push and pull action for us?
Absolutely. When you eat, your blood glucose rises. Beta cells in the pancreas release insulin.
The key.
It acts like a key, exactly. It pushes glucose into your cells to be used for energy and stimulates its conversion to glycogen for storage. This lowers blood sugar.
And the other side of that coin.
Conversely, when blood sugar drops too low, say between meals, the alpha cells release glucagon.
And glucagon's job is to raise blood sugar.
It raises blood sugar, it stimulates the breakdown of that stored glycogen, and even the formation of new glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. They work constantly together to keep glucose in a very tight, safe range.
That is meticulous regulation. Okay, let's move to a couple of glands that manage more systemic functions, like immunity and sleep cycles.
Right. The thymus gland is crucial for our immune system, especially early in life.
Okay, the thymus.
It produces hormones called thymosins. They play a vital role in the differentiation of T lymphocytes,
The key cells for immunity.
the key cellular component of our immunity. And what's interesting is, as we age, the thymus involutes, it shrinks, which is why elderly individuals often have weaker immune responses.
And finally, tucked away deep in the forebrain, we have the pineal gland. Its main hormone, melatonin, isn't focused on metabolism or salt, but on time itself.
That's a poetic way to put it, and it's true. Melatonin is responsible for regulating our 24-hour or diurnal rhythms.
Our body clock.
It is our body clock. This includes synchronizing our sleep-wake cycles, regulating pigmentation, and coordinating body temperature fluctuations throughout the day and night.
The body's internal clock manager.
Exactly.
We've covered systemic and metabolic regulators, but we should also just touch on local coordination, specifically the gonads.
Right, because they define development and reproductive function through steroid hormones. The testes in males produce androgens, primarily testosterone.
Essential for male secondary sexual characteristics and spermatogenesis.
Correct. And the ovaries in females produce estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen supports female characteristics and reproductive cycles, while progesterone is critical for maintaining a pregnancy.
And now that we've listed all these hormones and what they do, let's circle back to a fundamental question. How do they actually talk to the cells?
The mechanism of action.
Right. Why do some hormones need a receptor on the cell surface, while others can just dive right into the nucleus?
It all comes down to solubility. Hormones produce their effects by binding to specific hormone receptors, which are only found on their target tissues.
Okay.
Now, protein hormones like insulin, TCT, or oxytocin are generally water-soluble, but they are lipid-insoluble.
So they can't cross the fatty cell membrane.
They cannot. Therefore, they have to bind to membrane-bound receptors on the cell surface. This then triggers a secondary messenger cascade inside the cell.
So they basically knock on the door, and the cell sends a message back inside for them.
That's a perfect analogy, exactly. Conversely, you have steroid hormones like estrogen, testosterone, cortisol. These are derived from lipids, so they are lipid-soluble.
So they can just walk right in.
They can effortlessly diffuse across the cell membrane and bind to intracellular receptors, often located directly in the nucleus. This hormone receptor complex then acts directly on the genome,
Modifying gene expression.
modifying gene expression and protein synthesis. It's a much slower process, but a far more powerful regulatory action.
That distinction, protein hormones using second messengers versus steroid hormones directly changing your genes, that's a crucial high-yield concept. Okay, let's close this deep dive by connecting this fundamental biology to wider general knowledge points. The kind of stuff frequently tested in UPSC, drawn from the supplementary material.
Right, linking the core science to its application. We've established that metabolic control isn't just internal, it extends to how organisms interact with their environment.
Okay, like what?
Consider a topic highly relevant to agriculture and ecology: biofertilizers. We know from our sources that nostoc, a type of cyanobacterium, is an excellent example of a free-living nitrogen fixer.
Right, I'll stalk.
It uses these specialized cells called heterocysts to protect an enzyme and convert atmospheric nitrogen into usable forms for plants. This is fundamental chemical coordination, but at an ecological level.
And tying it back to the chemical control of metabolism, think about food preservation. This is a huge topic in public policy and resource management. Fruits stored in cold chambers have a longer storage life. And that's partly because the concentration of carbon dioxide is intentionally increased inside the chamber.
So the increased CO2 is acting as an external chemical signal.
Exactly.
It slows down the fruit's natural respiration and ripening processes. You're essentially manipulating the plant's own metabolic coordination system from the outside.
It just shows that chemical signals dictate life processes, whether they're internal hormones or external atmospheric gases. This synthesis perfectly illustrates that for UPSC, you have to link core biology with practical, environmental, and agricultural applications. It is all connected.
It really is.
So what does this all mean for you? We've covered how chemical coordination is the systemic backbone of homeostasis. It dictates everything from your height and immune response to your fuel consumption and bone strength.
And this raises, I think, an important final question for you to consider. If neural control is the immediate high-speed response,
The fast twitch,
and chemical coordination is the systemic long-term manager,
the marathon runner.
how tightly must the timing and the feedback mechanisms of these two complex systems be synchronized down to the millisecond to maintain true homeostasis across millions of cells without one system just overpowering the other.
A fascinating concept to mull over as you continue your rigorous preparation. We really hope this deep dive into chemical coordination has clarified and consolidated the high-yield facts you need.
We do.
And once again, remember that your support makes all this possible. Please hit that like button, share your valuable comment, and subscribe to Simplified UPSC by PPP.
Your contribution, especially from our paid members, is immensely helpful in sustaining this content creation. We value your commitment to learning quickly and efficiently.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Telegram and Instagram. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.